Think of today as a continuation of the introduction video I did some time back. Not too long ago, but it's kind of how I come to the conclusions that I do and have the thoughts that I do. Leaving a trail of breadcrumbs, I know that most of you have probably heard that term before. Also, down the rabbit hole, most of you probably heard of that one as well. Down the rabbit hole has references to, of course, Alice in Wonderland. Decent movie and a couple of its iterations. The same reference gets done in The Matrix as well. Follow the White Rabbit. Lots of you probably know about that one as well. Leaving a trail of breadcrumbs as for reference to, finding your way back home or finding your way towards somewhere that you needed to be. These terms, they are known to also mean like finding your way towards an idea, finding your way towards an understanding of things, new knowledge in particular. And that's what I want to talk about. You can read your Bible, you can read your Quran, you can read uh, 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 your books on philosophy, science, and it's dawned on me over the years as I've tried my best to do these things. Uh, Watch videos. Some of them can be as far as 3, 4 hours long. These can be very difficult concepts sometimes. But the point I'm trying to make is you see these things every day, you experience them in life, people talk about them, they pop up on your YouTube feed, your TikTok, and you need to sometimes look at it from a different perspective to see what it is that some authors may be trying to tell you. There's all manner of art out there, even if it's not in books or videos. It could be in a painting, it could be in a meme. And those expressions of art are telling you something. Eyes to hear. Huh, mistake. Eyes to see, ears to hear. You see this painting and you think to yourself, there's a story to tell there. And they can say a certain truth. In music, especially modern day pop music, there is all manner of references. Some of them into the occult, some of them into rituals. Lots of it tells you what it's like in the music industry. Some of it tells you what it's like in life. You see these memes that show truth. It could be a simple picture with a couple words, but you see it and you feel something. You know the message, you receive it. And sometimes there might be little references in there, little pictures off to the corner that tell you this is the origin of this picture. Sometimes it has multiple meanings. This is how you can come up with certain things when you read the Bible, for example. You can read the Bible and then you notice all types of carnage, all types of destruction, death, crimes in which I don't really want to speak or mention their names, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And dissenters, critics, atheists have shown these stories multiple times and explained, like, is it really this type of stuff that you want to follow? Is it moral to believe in this book and apply it to your life? Especially in the modern day where people they tend to feel a certain way about even harming like creatures that some people might even not care about. It's gotten to the point that some people don't just openly tell you. They'd feel worse or they would feel some type of way against you more if you hurt a dog than if you hurt a human being. Now, there's all types of implications that come with that, but you can make your own judgment on that. If you look at the Bible and you look at these stories and you don't see them for the stories that they are, but you see them as parables, as some uh, apologist might say, you get a different picture. And I'm not so much looking at what the apologists have to say either. I mean, not really, but as a underhanded joke, it's in the name. I see it as making excuses, trying to fit these stories around a narrative to make it seem like it's less bad than what it actually is. What kind of person would live in those times with the mind that they have today and just be okay with some of the things that are happening? But then you go down the rabbit hole, or you follow the trail of breadcrumbs, and you notice that they're telling you stories that have been able to be applied since its inception. These stories apply today. They tell you the truth if you're willing to see it. If you're willing to listen to the people telling you the truth, you can catch it. And even if you live in an environment, because these things exist today, where the truth is being suppressed, where you're not allowed to say certain things, you're not allowed to be aware of certain information, these are how not only can you catch this information, but how you can communicate it to others. It has become obvious to me that there are probably millions of people at this point that are telling the truth, that are showing through their art what is going on around here in life, in their respective countries, within their respective philosophies, ideologies, or religions. It is up to us, the individual, to communicate with one another and follow the trail of breadcrumbs or go down the rabbit hole to realize the truth, as many would say, for the wool to be pulled from our eyes. Now, I may be kind of showing myself a little bit when I say these things, but when you watch anime series such as Ghost in the Shell, when you watch movies like The Matrix, hell, very well known one, V for Vendetta, Idiocracy. Some of you make fun of that one on YouTube these days, but I mean, we can all see it, right? I mean, I see it, don't you? Even a little bit more covert than that. You see it in the likes of The Godfather, a classic. I mean, those those mobster movies, they have so much knowledge in them. It's insane that, looking back when I was younger watching them, I had no idea what I was looking at. Looking at them today, the amount of stuff that's in there that you can learn from. We all know that these things are fantasies, movies, they're not real, but they have something to say. What was it that Pablo Picasso said? It was something along the lines that everyone knows that art is a lie or tells lies, And it is up to us to see the truth within the lies that the artist is portraying to us. I know that's not verbatim, but it sets the point up pretty well. There's a lot of truth to the lies that people tell you. There's a lot of truth to the lies you see on the news. Living life today, especially if you're young, uh, late teens, early 20s, you might be completely oblivious to all this stuff. I mean, why should you care, really? Though I'm sure there are the few of you, you know, who either lived a certain way or you got exposed by some manner. If you believe in such things, one would say, like, you know, maybe this is the universe picking you, or maybe that you were born to know certain things, to spread it to others. As I continue with doing these videos, a lot of you may notice that I try to look at things from a philosophical point of view, though I'm sure maybe here and there I might have my particular biases. I don't expect anyone to follow what I say. People should make their own choices and conclusions, but lots of philosophy in the way that I see things. One in particular that I like to point out is the ability to overcome nihilism. Less controversial, or saying it differently, it would be the ability to overcome your own fear, laziness, ineptness. I mean, I've been through that. Waking up on certain days, and I have such simple things to do, yet I choose not to do them because it's almost like the pain of doing them or the will to do them, they just seem so great in my mind. But some of this stuff, it takes 5 minutes, and you would think it's procrastination, right? It isn't procrastination, it's something more than that. It's, why would I continue doing this if I know that there's no future for me? Why would I continue to force myself to do things that I don't want to do with no result, no pot of gold at the end of that rainbow? Well, I propose this. When you walk around here and you see the truth, it's kind of like in the Matrix. It's kind of like in Ghost in the Shell. You wake up, you realize that you can do these things that no one can stop you, really. People are so busy with their own lives. You might be doing something that you're not even supposed to do. Not that I would advocate for doing anything you're not supposed to do, but you're so well in your spirit, you just go ahead, you do what you have to do, and then it's like you were invisible. You're a walking ghost. No one sees anything, no one hears anything, no one says anything. Nobody knows, nobody cares. But if you care, ultimately and firstly for yourself, and then if you're just one of those people, you care more than that. You're one of those people who you don't want others to have been through what you've been through. You see the pain that someone else can go through, and you think, man, I don't want my brothers, my sisters, my family, or even my friends to ever have to go through that pain. So you do things, you tell them about it. You see things that they don't, and you hear things that they don't, as I keep saying, and then you bring it to light. On the flip side of that, it's one of those things where it can cause immense pain to care in such a manner and have people ignore you. I know what pain I've been through when I've done these things or I've tried to do these things to be ignored, to be laughed at, ridiculed, and mocked. I'll get a little bit more on that in a second. It's just kind of funny, at least to me, but it's painful, guys. It's very painful. I've been there. But you could surprise yourself if you push through to the point that it doesn't hurt anymore. You you grow above it and you fly over it or you swim under it, as the saying, over under the bridge, whatever. The humor I get from it is I remember years ago, and I've seen this more than once. I've seen this uh, as I visited my cousins, either or like friends, either it be graduations or baptisms. Uh, you would hear like a speaker say, "Oh, when you go out into the world, just like how they mocked Jesus, just like how they mocked disciples, they cursed at them. They're gonna mock you and they're gonna curse at you." And I mean, wow, man, wow. I wonder if it's possible that at a certain point in time, way back in the day, the people that considered themselves Christian, they were a different breed of person. Or were they just appropriating something that they were seeing or that they were maybe even afraid of? If you're someone who has a certain truth, and I mean the truth, not truth like my truth, I mean like objective truth. That's a whole other conversation, but I hope you guys know what I'm saying. And you get mocked and you get ridiculed. And someone who's afraid of that says, "Oh, I'm just like that person. When I speak truth, I get mocked and ridiculed, so I may be just as important as them, or I'm just as oppressed as them, or I'm just as strong or powerful as them." Uh, no, the way I see that, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we're all equally worthless. Maybe not, but eyes to see, ears to hear. Look at the stuff around you. Don't allow yourself to be fooled. It's hard at first. Turn on the TV or you look at YouTube, you see this fucking clickbait thing. Uh, oh, something's gonna get destroyed, or this particular side of the political aisle is this or that, or on the other side, and religious this, religious that. It's all a smokescreen. All of it matters and doesn't matter at the same time. You might see some of these things and you laugh, and not to say that everyone's humor is gonna be like mine, but it's not necessarily laughing. It's kind of like finding joy and content because you realize, man, look at this smokescreen. I don't have to follow any of this. I'm free from it. I can live my life whether I'm rich or poor, somewhere in the middle, anywhere in the middle. And none of this applies to me. None of it matters to me because I'm happy. A lot of you play video games. It's like playing a video game. When you first start, it's hard. When you start to understand the rules, you can manipulate them. You can break them. And not to the point where you're like cheating or anything in the game. It's just that people looking from the outside, you're gonna say, "Oh man, there's no way, you're that fast. There's no way you can clear this level that quickly. You must be cheating." You're not. You just see what they don't, and you know what they don't, and you may that be that guy. You may be that guy. You say loud and clearly with pride. You tell them to get good, or you can keep it to yourself and you just smile as you let them, run their mouth because they don't see how easy this is. Some people never care to see past, you know, how difficult things may seem to be. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of hearing it. Tired of hearing, oh, life is, so difficult, so hard, all these problems. No, life is not difficult. We make life difficult for ourselves. We participate in it. We align with people and spend times with people who make life difficult. We hang out with people who are miserable, who, again, if you believe in such things, they are miserable, they live their miserable lives, and without even noticing it, they make you miserable just by their mere existence. It's not that they have any type of malintent. It's not that they have it out for you. It's this crazy thing where they don't know what's going on any more than you do, or any less for that matter. But they may be part of a system, they may be part of a group, a religious belief, whatever, that tells them what to do, that makes things easy for them. Easy in quotations because they follow these rules, these dogmatic belief systems, and they think this is the roadmap to my happiness. It's not. Some of you, perhaps many of you already know this. A lot of frustration can come from that, where you think to yourself, and actually, I could even say that this happened to me. In my deepest moments of my spiritual journey, especially when I was a Christian, at a certain point, you get frustrated. Everyone gets frustrated. I never met from anyone from any religion who has never gotten frustrated at some point that they do all this stuff, they follow all these rules, and it has not gotten them anywhere. You're gonna find on the flip side too, some of these guys, I mean, damn, these guys, man, who they follow their religion and a bunch of great stuff happens to them and they think, oh, this is because of my religion, so if you just follow the religion just like I did, the same kind of things can happen to you. Man, don't you see that they're selling you something? Can't you tell that they're selling you something? It's this crazy thing where they could even be the type of person, just like I said before, they want to help other people, they have the best intentions. They're trying to help you as far as they know, but they don't understand that they might be the exception. They might have just been that lucky person, or they might have just had the circumstances in their life which led them to where they were just going to be the success story, guys. What is it? 380 million people in the United States alone? Can you conceive that number? United States alone, 380 million people. Canada, South America, China, Europe, Australia, so on and so forth, coming to billions. You don't think that a few 100,000, maybe more, maybe a billion or two of these people are going to have these type of stories? But what about everyone else? It's insane to me that I've seen it so many times. Some of the most depressed people on the inside are also some of the most giving. They're also some of the most hopeful, the kindest people. And it is this life that they live that makes them get into this whirlwind of depression because they don't understand how it is that the world around them is so evil or so against them, some of them might say. But when you're not attached to these things, just like how the Bible says, not attach yourself to worldly possessions. Well, worldly possessions, it doesn't just have to be things that you own. It could also be the possessions of your mind, things that you think you know, knowledge that you attach yourself to. Are you not just as much of a slave as some rich person who attaches themselves to all their possessions, or a poor person that attaches themselves to all their ideology, their religion, their belief systems? It's common now where a certain side of the aisle can say, "Oh, well, you guys, you might, look down upon our God, but you guys as God, it's the state. The state is your God, or money is your God, sex is your God." They're not completely crazy when you say that, although a lot of atheists would just look at that and just scoff at it, like, "Oh, look at these fools saying, you know, bullshit like that. These things are not gods." Are you sure? These things are concepts, aren't they? The same way that a Abrahamic God is a concept. Can't these things be concepts as well, therefore be, just as much gods? The knowledge is there, guys. Not so much today as in the past, as we today live in the information age, but even back then. The sculptures, the paintings, the architecture, the stories that people told around, a fire, the stories men told each other as they worked together in labor, saying, "Oh, this is what I saw," or "This is what I think." Have you ever noticed? Have you ever seen? We speak to each other, we communicate with each other. The truths have never been hidden from us. We just forgot how to see it. We've been getting connected, you see, stuck in this, what a lot of people will say today is this great fucking hologram or illusion. It's time that we should no longer be afraid to openly speak about things. We can share stories. We share stories based off of things we experience, the movies we see, the art that we like. We create life by appreciating life for what it is. And even though someone next to you could only be listening to your story, they're only listening to what you have to say, without even realizing it, guys, you're going to be pushing out these truths that you know. And people who are in tune with it are going to notice. They may not even notice how they notice, but you'll be able to tell that as you go along, as an individual, that things just might be running a little bit better for you. Not because that you make more money, not because, you have more things, but because you just have a sense of peace, peace of mind, peace of heart. Of course, that may not be the story for everyone, and that's just the sad truth of it. There are people out here in this world, I've seen them. It doesn't matter how much they have in terms of being either spiritually awakened or not so spiritually awakened, or they're just content with their lives. They will never, ever have any more than, some of the most poor people that exist out here in the world. And that's just circumstances of their birth. But not everyone has such dire circumstances. One last thing I can say about that specifically, at least in my experience, when you have that thing, you've been able to go down the rabbit hole. You may see people who have by far more than you have and realize, wow, you don't care. You don't want that. It doesn't suit you. You want something else. You might want something that's more. You might want something that's less. But you don't, as the Bible says, you don't covet someone else's. And as I've mentioned the Bible several times uh, in this video, is just a clear representation of the breadcrumbs. Some of these things, they're just the truth. These are things that people who lived for a millennia have known that they could have and someone else doesn't, and yet they're still happy because they have these other things that someone else doesn't, or they see it from a different light, or their life is just so peaceful that they don't care. In a more intense fashion, you see that same lesson in V for Vendetta. You see that same lesson in The Matrix. Hell, I would be surprised if you see that same lesson in Winnie the Pooh. Bravery is not just being able to do these things. Bravery, you know, to some degree, is overcoming self. Understanding that a lot of this stuff, it's painful. You're gonna be hurt. Your feelings, your body might be broken when you try to figure out things in this life. It's very painful. You take on responsibilities, and as we all know, especially those of us who are older, people don't want to take responsibilities. But you might wake up one day as you realize that you've been going through these journeys, looking at these truths that you want responsibilities all of a sudden. The burden of these responsibilities no longer weigh anything as you carry them because you're just so at peace with yourself that the strength just come from this light that you have within yourself, for lack of better words, this understanding that you have in your mind, and you don't feel it. You can do all types of wonderful things. It's like how some people say, look, I can't own this things, I can't afford it. And someone tells you, oh, why don't you just build it for yourself? It'll only cost you whatever. And you think to yourself, I could never build that thing. I don't have the talent. Really? What if you did? What if you did and you did not know that you did? I mean, I'm doing these YouTube videos, right? I might be some talentless jagoff, you don't know, but here I am. I'm doing these YouTube videos. Someone might want to fucking build themselves a bow. Someone might want to build themselves a house. They think, man, there's no one out here who'll be able to build the house that I want. No one out here who'll be able to do it and design it the way that I would. Well, yes, there is. It's you. If you can't find a person to design something the way that you want it designed, maybe it's because that you're the one who's meant to design it. How can we as people be so upset at these corporations would just tell us what you're supposed to like, what you're supposed to eat, how your stuff is supposed to look, and you just buy it because, you know, it's convenient, and you don't want the responsibility of making it for yourself or doing it on your own. The reason that monopolies exist is not just because these corporations or these people are rich and they just use money. No, it's because we don't make our own stuff anymore. Going on from that, we don't make up our own minds anymore. Well, some of us do. I like to think that I do. There's no denying that, you need your education. You may come from a position where you're not capable of having the opportunity to be as educated as other people. But in the modern day, guys, when education is it's free. It really is. People say, oh, they want the state to take care of your education. They want schools and stuff. Why is it that the smartest people that I've ever met, and I mean like even those that are accredited scientists, graduated scientists in their field, doctors, physicians, military, law enforcement, man, pastors, bishops, clerics, I've met these guys. I hear constantly that a lot of what they know, they never got it from school. They got it from choosing and picking the books that they want to read, choosing and picking the people that they talk to, the experiences that they have, the places that they go. Are those things gone from us today? Are they outside of our reach? I don't think so. Guys, the world belongs to us. It is up to us to claim it, to conquer it. Nothing can stop you. Oh man, circus, I can't do this. I don't have enough money. I don't want to hear it. Well, I do, but you know, I don't. It's not all. It's most of the time not true. There are exceptions on both sides. The same way that there are these exceptions of these people who make it, who become celebrities, whatever. There's also exceptions on the flip side. The low of the low who didn't make it but had all the talent to do so. There's certain things I would never advocate for, but all of you out there that are intelligent, you mean to tell me you can't find a way to get out of the dead end job that you hate to do something that you love? Sure, life costs money, food, lodging, a car. Take a step outside of that and see how you could do without. But that's a whole other video on, I mean, sacrifice and discipline. But I know a lot of you guys don't want to hear anything about that, huh? I mean, there's way too many people out here on YouTube who talk about that. I don't even need to go there. It's not really my domain, really, but you all know. As I'm coming to an end here, guys, I must say it again. Breadcrumbs and rabbit holes. Freedom is on the other side, guys. It exists for all of us. It is attainable by all of us, each and every individual. Real freedom, not freedom to be equal to one another. No, freedom of the sense to be responsible for yourself, regardless of your situation. Freedom that means that you can be in danger every day. Freedom that means that you could be killed by doing something that goes against whatever entity, government, whatever is above you. You're still free. Perhaps that is my dogma. Perhaps I'm completely wrong on this. I may be a hypocrite. Oh, maybe my God is freedom. Well, if my God is freedom, guys, well, there you have it. I'm sure I could do a lot worse. I'm done.